baby.
Okay, that was fast enough because it has to be F1 fast. Is that the sound? That's like a gentle breeze. Now I got the chills. Hey everyone, welcome to this BaconBit. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but
because it's been a while since two of us have seen a movie.
It's been a while.
Before all that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, two of us have seen a movie. I am not one of those two. But today we'll do a brief review of F1, the popular adaptation of the keyboard.
F1, the movie.
F1 registered trademark.
The movie, no colon.
No colon.
Yeah. Very specific.
Yes.
We can't just say F1 because F1 is a thing with the same branding of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it sponsors the movie pretty much
so this
fully.
is like the Lego movie. They didn't just call it Lego.
Yeah, basically what they want you to do is watch this movie and go out and buy an F1 car.
Yeah.
I've got 3 already. I don't think I can fit another one in my garage.
Like little Hot Wheels ones.
How much is an F1 car?
Don't even ask.
More than you make it.
I'll tell you this. They buy a lot of them in this movie.
They do?
There's a lot
of
replaceable cars in this movie. So Zach and I went and saw this one the other night on an IMAX screen. Not the best IMAX screen in the state, but
arguably the worst.
Yeah, arguably the worst. I think the sound mixing's always off there.
Always.
Oh,
Jordan Thomas. Yeah.
Yes.
Not a sponsor for sure.
Not anymore.
Joel, I'm sorry you didn't see this one because this one it's a bigger movie for the summer, and it's one that takes itself very seriously. Do you have the details in the synopsis of this movie?
Yes, I do. So this movie, a Formula One driver comes out of retirement to mentor and team up with a younger driver, directed by Joseph Kosinski, and starring Brad Pitt, Carrie Condon, and Javier Bardem, who, by the way, like all them, they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good.
It's a really good cast.
Also, Damson Idris plays the young mentee in the movie.
Mm-hmm. The rookie hotshot, as these movies always have to have.
Yeah.
But Joseph Kosinski, maybe you don't know him by name, but...
not the Unabomber, by the way.
They really want you to know that he directed Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. And for all of us nerds, Tron Legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But looking at this movie here, I'm just realizing this is an adaptation of Cars told from the point of view of Doc.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that about right?
No, here's the thing. Yeah, the plot of this movie, sometimes it's unimportant because what you have is it's a dialogue movie with characters, and it is one of those where you're like, hey, it's the old has-been that wants one last chance. And the young prodigy who just isn't quite there and needs some help. And that is, it's a formula we've seen forever.
On a failing F1 team.
Yes.
And there is, the tension of this movie is brought by, if this team doesn't improve, everyone's going to lose their jobs, they're going to lose the team, and Brad Pitt's old racing buddy is going to be out $400 million.
Yeah. And it tries to bring you into the politics of races, the F1 circuit. And it's stuff that I think we've always kind of seen in like Ford v Ferrari. Like if you don't follow races, that you're like, the executives are going to get in the way again. That's this movie.
See, and here's the thing. You said Ford v Ferrari. I knew there was another movie that I feel like is very similar in vein. But I thought I had Brad Pitt in it. Has he done a car movie before?
Oh, you're thinking of Driven with Sylvester Stallone.
Or are you thinking of Rush with Chris Hemsworth?
Oh, it's probably that one. That's a Ron Howard movie.
Brad Pitt was in Once Upon a Time in
Bullet Train,
Hollywood.
Brad Pitt's been in other movies.
There was a vehicle in Bullet Train. Yes, that is correct. So Brad Pitt is here, and Zach, we can just jump in with this review. Joel, feel free to ask any questions, but he plays...
Okay. How's your dating life?
It's not as good as this movie.
Oh. Okay.
Brad Pitt plays the cocky rogue in this movie. He's aged out of it. He did play a young F1 driver, and we don't want to get into spoilers on this part, but it just didn't really work out for him. And so he has one last chance, this one last circuit.
Do they do the de-aging thing when they show the flashbacks?
Correct.
Okay, so they don't just get another actor.
And you know what? Because they make it purposely grainy.
Yeah, it's like footage of the time, so it's
fine.
Totally passable. No, nothing weird.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And so he is kind of perfect in this role.
He is.
Like, isn't it crazy? Like, you watch it and you're like, I want to hate you, but like, you fit this role so well.
But it's also right in his wheelhouse. This is everything that Brad Pitt has been playing for maybe the last decade.
So kind of like Ocean's 11 Brad Pitt?
But that was young Brad Pitt.
No, not that. It's like, what if Billy Bean from Moneyball drove fast?
Okay.
It's much more than
and was tired and didn't want to take anyone's guff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
But also somehow was the smartest man in the room?
Meanwhile, you have Damson Idris, who is the younger driver on this team, and I don't
know him from anything. I was just looking him up.
Yeah, you don't. He is a social media star, at least wants to be.
He's got his buddy who's his manager, and he's got a very regimented lifestyle, but he's having to check in with people. And because this team is failing, you have a character or a guy who's like, I got to think about what's happening next for me. So I maybe don't care as much as what's going on here.
So this isn't the movie when they have the kid who plays video games then drive the race
Gran
car.
Turismo. Yeah, which, by the way, is pretty good.
Okay.
The Gran Turismo is like the opposite plot of this one. Except for in this movie, the way they set up this character of, I think his name is Joshua Pierce. JP. You want to hate him. You're like, oh, you are so vain. Just listen to the lessons that Brad Pitt is going to teach you. Sonny Hayes is his name in the movie.
Yeah.
And just follow along. And you're like, you're the villain. Until you realize nobody's really the villain here. This is just kind of...
Circumstance is the villain?
Yeah. This is the
Gravity
choices
is the
that
villain.
they've made. Gravity is definitely the villain. And so you're watching, you're like, I'm just watching good dialogue happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm halfway through the movie going, it's a race movie. And the races are the star here.
Yeah.
But the dialogue along the way is great. And similar... Sorry, Zach, I'm jumping right into it.
Go for it.
Very similar to Top Gun Maverick.
Oh.
Because that one kind of had a sneaky little romance angle. I'm not saying this is a love story, but the fact that you have a great co-lead with Carrie Condon in this movie.
I love Carrie Condon.
With her amazing accent, by the way.
Is she Scottish? This
Full-blown
one?
Irish. Yeah.
Oh, Irish. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Irish.
Joel, it's great. Like, it's great. It's like Rebecca Ferguson levels of great.
Yeah.
And, and obviously she's playing against Brad Pitt and she just keeps shutting him down. And it's great to see. In fact, everyone here is firing on all cylinders. Oh no, who am I? To the point where I'm like, yeah, I've seen this story before, but because these people are in it, great. The score is great. The directing is great. And the races are incredible. I was exhilarated in every race. Granted, there's a lot of them.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, but a lot of racing movies, and I'm stereotyping here.
Go on.
Sometimes you get lost in who's where and when. Like, they kind of just show car shot, face shot, car shot, face shot.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of that.
Okay.
But one of my problems with the movie will actually help every viewer, and it's you have the actual announcers of the F1 broadcast on like ESPN or whatever, and they are very excitedly yelling very basic details that explain what's going on in the race about the guys that are currently in last place.
But only about the two leads in the movie.
Yeah, he's constantly talking about last place. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, who you guys don't know, but he's like the bee's knees in the current F1 series.
Yeah.
Like, all of the actual guys are in the race up at the front. Nope, we're talking about this failing team back.
They have like the actual racers.
I'm watching
the
movie with Zach, and he's like, we try not to talk during movies, but he's like, hey, F1 driver. I'm like, is this like Oppenheimer for races?
Yeah.
Because that one it was full of scientists, right?
Yeah.
And this one is produced by the racers. Thankfully, Joel, they don't try to act.
Oh, good.
Like, there's no racer villain in this movie. The villain is, like you said, circumstance. They just go, you want to beat that guy, and it's a real name. And that's it. They're not like, oh, how dare you go past me?
Yeah, internal conflict and circumstance, it's fine.
The only thing Zach and I talked about after this movie, which I think is maybe the flaw, is what I call the meet the parents syndrome, is if it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah.
And so this movie is in every race, they need to pace it well. They need to have this be an underdog story. They can't have them win too fast. And so there must always be something wrong.
I think the only thing I said when we were walking out was like, the movie was good, but it needed one more scene of adversity.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, needed one more because it happened a lot, which makes sense. There's several races in the season and things have to go wrong. But it did feel like there was maybe like one race that didn't need to be there in the pacing.
For Joel, for you and I, because I don't know a lot about F1, I assume you don't.
I have 3 in my garage. I told you that.
Okay, yeah, I'm so sorry. This is F1 for dummies. And to someone like me, who I just like entertaining movies that are well paced, I was like, that's all I need. Thank you very much.
So you explain it a bit. It's not just like cargo fast, target to finish line.
They explained it to the point where they're like, here's the technology. Did you know that this person built this or this person raced this way? And then they go, here's every race in order. If you were to watch F1 per season, here's every race in order. I'm like, well, now I would know. But that's all you need to know.
They got to Vegas and I'm like, oh, it's late November.
Yeah. So in that way, like,
I don't know.
I think this is a movie. Well, this is like a dad movie, but that feels condescending because it's great. I actually think this is a great summer movie. It is a heck of a ride. Great performances. You've kind of seen the plot before, but that's okay. And the races are the star, and it's captured very well. I'm giving this one right now a B+.
Oh,
It could be an A- in time.
wow.
So, Zach, grade?
I'll just talk about it first.
Yeah.
I poke maybe more holes in it than you.
Yeah.
I only have a little bit more experience. I don't follow F1, but I know about it.
How many F1 cars do you own?
Actually, none. It's crazy.
They're a great investment.
I should. But this movie is everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it as one of my most anticipated of the year, and mainly just because I wanted to see the visceral scene. So the cool thing about this movie is the unprecedented access that they had to the F1 series, where they are literally filming with the guys. I mean, there were behind the scenes pictures that I was seeing all along the way of like, hey, here's the F1 race this weekend, and you take the picture, and it's like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, and then there's Brad Pitt standing there next to him. You know, it's like they stood next to everybody doing the real thing, and it feels that way. And then there's a specific shot that happens over and over again, but it's specifically in well, Brad Pitt's got to show he's the best. The first scene where he drives, where the camera is facing forward, and it feels real, like watching Top Gun Maverick. It's like I my brain just accepts we are on board an F1 car, and then the camera turns around, and now we're looking at Brad Pitt in the car, and he actually is in the car, and obviously not driving full speed, but like the sense of realism that you feel just really pulls you into this movie.
Do we know if he did actually drive an F1 vehicle around?
From what I understand, they were actually in the vehicles and doing, very, very limited. Like the training.
They said he was, but then he also said, I'll never do a Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise because I don't want to do those kind of stunts.
Yeah.
So,
I can't remember. What's the young actor's name?
The real actor, Damson Aldris.
Yes. So JP in the movie, I saw an interview with him. He's like, driving now is boring because I've been in an F1 car, And so they had really, close to real experiences.
How was driving home after the movie?
I drove very fast.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I had a very short drive, but drove very fast. Again, it's everything that I wanted from this type of movie. It's a very formulaic plot.
Yeah.
But great performances.
Well, I mean, that's
very engaging.
Top Gun Maverick was a formulaic plot, and yet I had it just such a fun ride.
I will say what this has over Top Gun Maverick is it does not get bananas goofy at the end.
Yeah.
People forget that Top Gun Maverick's ending sequence is really kind of silly.
I think the review did say bananas goofy, in the parents' guide.
Well, it was weird when they ended up behind enemy lines in Russia, and they had to race out in the snow.
In F1, for sure. I mean, they may have been behind enemy lines, but that's different.
Truth.
No, this is great. I had such a fun time. I mean, we're I don't know, 8 probably is my score. Just really solid, a little long. That's maybe my only complaint.
Over 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw the runtime here, and it is 156 minutes.
It's a little long. Yeah. But a couple things I want to call out from a technical side. Kent mentioned it briefly. The score by Hans Zimmer is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It is perfectly suited. I joked as we walked out, this was like Hans Zimmer doing his best Tron Legacy impression.
Ooh.
And that's right. Isn't that a great
there's
recipe?
a little bit of loud techno involved.
And it works brilliantly. And then also something that I've been, I don't know, weirdly noticing lately is movies that are shown on IMAX that only have select scenes in IMAX.
Yeah.
And they may be clever with the way the aspect ratio changes, but it does. Mission Impossible didn't have the full movie in IMAX. This one, every single scene, every single shot, I was noticing the entire time it uses the full IMAX screen. Even though, it's spending time looking at characters' faces and we're having conversations in tiny bars in the middle of nowhere. It's still full IMAX the entire time, which is great. And so technically, this film is, I hate saying film, technically, this movie is great. And then, the story and everything is what it needs to be. So, great to watch, great performances, go see it.
Great summer movie.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Joel.
So this is where I leave, not because of spoilers. I don't think there's going to be many spoilers here.
People win races, Joel, but we're not going to tell you about it.
Just so you guys can talk more specific details about the movie together. So I'm going to excuse myself and zoom out of here. So don't spoilers. Okay, I'm going.
Just wants to leave early.
You know me so well.
All right, it's time for spoilers in. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so is he gone? Is he gone?
Was that pole position?
That's pole position or Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pole position, actually. Make that movie, everyone.
Daryl.
All right, did you want to listen?
What do you spoil in a racing movie?
I mean, we could say like, oh, they lose this amount, they win this amount.
I'm not going to say this is a spoiler section. I'm going to say this is a you don't actually care about the plot and want to hear about the details.
I'm going to say it was an expectation section right here because I'm watching this movie going, yeah, we've seen this movie a whole bunch. So here's what's going to happen. Brad Pitt is going to come in and he should win. So by the way, actually, let's jump back to his past.
Yeah.
He was this great driver when he was young and had golden blonde locks.
Yes. Oh, boy.
And he was racing against Senna, who is a very well-known name in the racing circuit. Great documentary if you haven't seen it. And so he's racing, doing really well, and he flips his car and he is thrown out of the car. And
the car cuts in half, basically. The front half blows off, and he's just laying on the track.
Yeah, they show his mangled body.
Quite gruesome.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's not good.
Like, not graphic, but gruesome.
Yeah. And so he does have dreams about that. He has flashbacks about that. Or we see the news scenes, and it's to the point where that was, 30 years ago. Yeah. And they keep making fun about him in this movie. And then to the point where you're like, well, it's still Brad Pitt. He could still do it. But he looks like an older Brad Pitt. You can see why they would kind of say he's not meant for this. Even though he walks onto the racetrack every day and he's like, they barely let me in. Yeah. Here I am, guys.
And all the F1 purists are like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And to that I say, I don't care.
I flew into Abu Dhabi. It's fine.
Yeah, I flew coach or whatever.
And so my worry here and the way they were setting up the movie is that he is a liability for the team. So and they set this up, that he was going to keep making mistakes and errors to benefit the young driver. And I thought, granted, they need to show Brad Pitt winning because he lost so badly 30 years ago.
Yeah, he needs a redemptive moment.
And then I was a little worried because I've seen this in a lot of other racing movies that he was going to lose in the end, but help this new prodigy claim his place. And in fact, they do go there.
They sure do.
They go there to the point where you're like, well, that was nice, but at least
the
team will win.
Yeah. Because ultimately that is the goal. So the setup is that the team will fold. The owner, who is Javier Bardem, which is in a very charismatic role.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's great.
I believe him as a powerful owner, but also former driver.
Yeah,
he's going to have to sell the team if they don't win a race.
Yeah, and to explain F1 is, they keep every week they do a new race, and there's two drivers for every race at the same time.
Yeah.
And they go what?
They're a team.
60 to 70, and obviously there's like different positions. They try to help each other, and obviously one of them needs to win.
Yeah.
But the better they place, the better they'll
get more points.
Yeah, get more points and get further to the beginning of the line, the next race. And so they're riding together. It is a little hard to see the car sometimes. They're like black and gold. But after a while, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
But I really thought like, oh, this is going to be like a sacrificial sort of thing. Because they keep referencing, and maybe this is the spoiler for the movie, is that he should have died. And if he does some races where he gets hurt, and by the way, he gets hurt a lot in this movie.
Yes, you do.
He'll probably be paralyzed at the very least. And so I'm like, well, that's probably going to happen. That's going to be the crying moment in this movie.
Yeah.
Are you happy that didn't go there?
Yeah, I didn't want a tragic death moment. I didn't want I didn't want a
the Goose moment, Days of Thunder.
What's the movie? Remember the Titans?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want that to happen. And while there is a wreck and there is a couple of hospital scenes, they're just like, you got hurt, but you're okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it needed to be.
Yeah. To the point where JP, he's about to win a race and he is stoked and he gets a little overconfident to the point where it haunts him, but his car is on fire. He is burning up. Thankfully, they wear suits, so just his hands were a little burned. Yeah. I was like, I burned my hands worse when I, opened the oven.
Yeah.
It was a little impractical, but at the same time, for movie speed at the pace it needs to go, and to have the right drama. It's funny because it's all this internal stuff of like, hey guys, we're gonna win this race, but oh no, there's some tampering from inside the team. It's from people trying to sell the team. I'm like, guys, the drama was
forgery in our R&D department.
Yeah, I was like, I'm already stressed out about this movie. We don't need this part.
That was kind of tossed in at the end.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because they needed like a villain, and it was the corporate types.
Yeah. It was corporate guy who stands to gain by the team getting sold. Basically Major League.
So Brad Pitt, he does sacrifice himself in position. And so there are 2 drivers left, and it's JP and Lewis Hamilton, and they're head to head. And then JP's like, you know what? This isn't my race. And actually, at this point, I went, oh gosh, I love this. He takes out Lewis Hamilton so that Brad Pitt, who's now coming back around the corner
from third, he spins around completely and then recovers. And
who knows?
Don't worry about it.
But he takes first, and it's this moment where you're like, yeah, that was needed.
And
that was so needed.
I think that it ended cliche, but not.
I think the most cliche was not the fact they won the race because they needed to.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
The cliche thing was that Brad Pitt goes, "Well, I'm now like it was a Western."
Yeah.
Sorry,
I set myself aside.
He's like, guys, I'm going to walk off into the sunset. I know we won first place, and I kind of fell in love, but I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
And the reason he left, pretty cool, and I wanted to see, but him leaving, it was like a little too dramatic. And then he ends up in the closing credits, which I actually thought was a great way to close the movie. He always wanted, in the beginning of the movie, he sets out to do the Baja
1000.
And he does that at the end of the movie. I'm like, yeah, I think this guy who just loves racing for the heck of it, even putting his life at risk, would do something like this.
He lost all his money gambling because he's a risky guy.
Yeah. Do you think the movie could have ended with the next year and he was a consultant on the team?
Yeah,
I mean that's where the movie's kind of headed.
That's maybe a step too far
clean.
cliche.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you know what? No need for character growth here. Just do your thing, feel satisfied, and continue doing your thing. That's great.
Then they do give him with a love story, so there's like it's not the main story, but it's enough. And then at the end, because he's been divorced 2 times, annulled a couple other marriages. A lot of breakups, but so this woman, Carrie Condon, does not trust him. And at the end of the movie, he's about to be like, I'll see you at the end of the road or whatever. But he says, he has a growth moment where he's like, can I see you down the road? And I was like, that's a good character moment right there. He learned to be kind at age 60.
Yeah.
So are we forgetting any other spoilers?
I don't know. Maybe a call out. I really appreciated the performance of the actress whose name I don't know. The mom.
Yeah.
She's
JP's mom.
JP's mom. She's the therapist from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, she is. Oh, I totally forgot.
Yeah, I had to look it up later because I'm watching her going, you are great. Who are you?
Yeah.
And yeah, she's the therapist.
Because she's the concerned mother and
Ted
honestly
Lasso.
overly concerned at parts, overly angry at some characters for other things.
Yeah.
But good. Just what?
Sarah Niles. Is
Sarah
her
Niles,
name.
yeah.
She was great.
Everyone was really good in this movie.
Good performances across the board, and engaging characters, and it doesn't get too complicated.
No.
It just ends up this kind of core group of people. There's like this little running plot line of a female member of the pit crew.
Yeah.
There's like a little thing there of like
She's clumsy.
she's a little clumsy, and she gains strength through and shows kind of the team coming together a little bit, but not overplayed.
I get stressed every time they go into the pit.
Yeah.
Every time the car hurry and pulls over and they have to do that quick, I'm like, oh, yep, I'm out.
Isn't it bananas though? This is just F1 where there's a scene where, of course, the pit crew doesn't do well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it took 8 seconds instead of under 3. What's wrong with you?
It's so true.
Oh,
All right, so Zach, this costs a lot of money to make, so it may not make its money, but it's Apple and they don't care.
Yeah.
Will this make money though? Will this be successful?
I think so because, people saw Mission Impossible.
Well, and people love Top Gun. If people are ready for that and know this is the same sort of formula.
They've played that angle so much.
Yeah.
That the guy who did Top Gun is now doing a movie with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, again, not.
And we haven't seen him in a while, but he's a movie star.
Of the crop of the last true movie stars.
Yeah.
So he can sell a movie. I think it will do well, but it won't do amazing.
Okay.
But I think you should go see it.
I'd watch this again. I'd recommend it in IMAX.
For sure, in IMAX.
Maybe not Jordan Commons.
Not the one Jordan Commons in Sandy, Utah. Don't recommend that one. But, go see F1.
Go see F1. And if you do see it, let us know what you think.
Indeed.
Nice.